Good evening all. I must apologise right at the start. I need you to tell me if the microphone is too loud, too soft, etc. Because I'm guessing music is way louder than my voice. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, here we go. How about that? Is that better? Once we get these levels right, heaps better. Is that good? Perfect sound of balance. Good, bad, ugly. That's actually good. Excellent. So remember last time when I kicked off, I had like an update of stuff behind the scenes magically, and it just mucked with my voice levels and mic levels and all that sort of stuff. That face cam. Nice troll. It's ugly, isn't it? Yeah, so it just mucked with all my voice levels and whatnot, so I had to dive through and see what it was that changed and reset and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, sorry about that. I'm hoping that's the last time that we're going to have to muck with voice levels. But anyway, good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining in. I've got a couple of shout outs already. Chiggins, Chris Higgins again, thank you very much for subscribing. Tier 1. Wolf is just resubbed. Tier 1, 4 months in a row. Wow. What a legend. Thank you for that, mate. And Barney, as always, throwing money at me or whatever opportunity he gets. I've never seen more use of Get System in my life. You're a legend, my friend. Thanks for the Tier 2 sub. I appreciate that. And good evening to everyone else who is on stream. The patron supporters and all that sort of stuff. Who do we have? We got Atwolf, Men's, Zorcat, Rasta's even on, Dean's watching. Like, man, Men's is in, Athul is in, Joshua Riesenweber's in. Oh, Josh, how you going, dude? More made. Yeah, that's right. I make everyone VIPs and stuff pretty regularly. So yeah. Anyway. I think that's pretty much all the administrator out of the way. Before we continue, make sure you have a cup of tea, because tea at Hacking by That Tea is very uncivilized, and we want to maintain some level of civility. Sparkle's back as well. Greetings to you. Thanks for joining in again. Tonight I am back on the Dong Ding Oolong, and I'm not actually going to have any chocolate. I'll tell you why. It's 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, Amy made this apple and berry crumble, and my god, it was amazing, and I drastically overate, and as part of overeating I feel like I need to detox off all things sugary. So yeah, I smashed ice cream, like bowl after bowl of this ice cream and crumble. It was amazing, and now I can't eat sugar for weeks. So yeah, all good. What do we got? OJ, it's Will. Will's on stream. What's going on, Will? What's that? What do we got there? These iPhone lightning cables will hack your computer. Oh, are they the they were the ones that would drop during DEF CON, right? MG, the o.mg.lol is where they would drop. Are they the cables you're talking about? Yeah, I haven't actually looked into the details of that. I've just had a high level, sort of surface level look. They look pretty fun. Yeah, I need to have a play with them at some point in the not too distant future. So I'm digging these tunes. That first tune that was out tonight was cool. This song reminds me of Beat Saber again. Okay, what's news with you guys? Have you all caught up with the latest and greatest of the streams? I'm assuming not. We're up to episode 25, quarter of a century, 50 hours of content. Far out. You've been in the snow. Yeah, well, I've seen pictures of the snow in Canberra, and let me tell you, not cool. I mean, it's very, very cool, but not cool. Not my kind of cool, anyway. Yeah, it has been pretty chilly. Hey, Zorcat's waving. Good to see you, buddy. So, where we left off. What I've noticed is pretty cool about streams as part of a series is that your viewership actually goes down over time. And there's just the hardcore regulars like you guys that join in every time. Hey, Rusta. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed, eh? It's pretty terrible. Yeah, I think the last stream may well have finished off with this strong. So I've got a set of new stuff that I have basically got a playlist of, and I just shuffle play them. So that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. Rusta's subbed. He subbed four tier 1 subs in a row. Thank you, mate. That's very, very kind of you. You are a legend. I will put it down to DEFCON. Yeah, there's probably a bit of that. But I do think it's because it's part of a series, and when people see something like, 25, they think, oh man, that's a huge backlog of stuff that I got to get through. So it is what it is. Now, where did we leave off? Does everyone remember where we left off? We actually got LS working. I never thought I'd be excited by that, but I am. So that's pretty cool. Do you have more on the 10 a.m. stream? Do you mean, do I have more planned? Or did I have more people? I'm assuming you mean more people? No, it was about the same, actually. The total level of people that came in was kind of the same, fluctuated, etc. But it was pretty much exactly the same as the usual stats, which is really quite interesting. But I do put that down a little bit to the DEF CON thing. There were a few very nice folks that dropped me a line behind the scenes and said, hey, if it wasn't DEF CON, I'd be there. So might have to do another morning stream somewhere on the way. I might aim for a Wednesday one or something. I don't know. We'll see. See how we go. Now, enough of my face. Let's look at VMware, because that's where the shiz lies. Okay. This is pretty much where we left off, right? We had we had the ability. I've had to reboot VMs, by the way. We had the ability to connect and run LS on the current session, right? -1 LS. Okay, so this actually worked. Hooray! How very exciting. That's where we got to at the end. We even had our permissions working correctly. We had a couple of nuances that we needed to fix, but pretty much for the most part, the stat stuff actually worked really well. Tuesday and Friday, the 8 p.m. stream is good for. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with all of those things. Now, but here we go. So if we go ls, if we give it a file, it should match it. But if we go ls star.exe, we get file globbing not supported this session. Now I think I remember adding that exact issue as some kind of setting somewhere. Let's move that over 3. So let's just figure out where that happens to be. File globbing not supported. Actually, that'd be part of lib. Probably lib. Librex post. Righto, let's have a look at this. So this is where. Here we go. Right. Okay, so it looks like we don't actually use star as part of the LS, as part of this FS search, which is really quite interesting. And by the looks of it, is a whole new thing to muck with. Hello, L Ponal, or is that I? Might be L, might be I. Good evening, thanks for joining in. Yeah, so it looks like FS search is used instead. So if it's a glob and we don't include a return otherwise, stat path, get the directory, file stat, list path. So this is where we, what does list path do? It's doing entries with info. Now, isn't that what we called before as well? Entries with info. Ag entries with info. Let's find out where that is. Yep, there it is there. Alright, librex post interpreter extensions standard API fs dir.rb. Now, isn't this funny? Isn't this funny? So prior to this list path call, it actually does check for FS search, right? Don't correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, file globbing is not supported with this session if this FS standard API FS search does not exist. However, when we call list path, that calls entries with info, and entries with info calls ls. I wonder what's going on there. If I do a wall climb, can you sponsor me for my walkathon? Well, I will sponsor you for your walkathon even if you don't do a wall climb. How about that? I actually have your walkathon link sitting open in a browser tab ready to go. So I will definitely sponsor you for that, mate. But if you want to do a wall climb too, you should do that anyway. I won't do that. Okay, so this is interesting to me because I want to know why this is actually referenced as part of the include, even though it's not used. Okay, so file search works that way. That's the UI console. Let's open up file.rb and search for FS search. So search for the files and click matching glob in the glob directory. So why on earth are we seeing this in the check for ls? That's really interesting to me. Entries with info. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I missing something here? Request. Standard API FSLS is what's being called here. I must be missing something. Let's go back to the implementation of native. Because I could have sworn there was something in here that actually handles globbing. FSLS directory. I am confused. That's alright. No dramas at all. So does everyone see my confusion here? Everyone understand why I'm a little bit what? Because according to this, when we call dir and get entries with info, which is it at least appears to be what's called here inside the fs.rb, right? ls, when we call ls, if there's a glob and fs search isn't there, we get file globbing is not supported with this session. It then goes ls path if the thing that we give it is a folder, which in turn calls client fs dir entries with info. Okay, and it does all of the things. But what I'm really confused about is dir entries with info calls standard API FSLS. So why does it care about whether FS search is present or not? I don't get it. Does anyone else? Can someone else explain it to me? I'm guessing not. It's partly rhetorical. This tea's warming me up. I'm not stripping, by the way. I'm just taking one layer off. Yeah. You know, you drink a lot of tea you end up warming up from the inside, which is one of the best things about tea. Alright. There we go. Whew, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so does that mean that I then have to support FS search purely to support FS glob, even if I implement FS glob, sorry, the file system globbing functionality directly in LS? So yeah, I'm confused. Now, what I really want to do is follow my nose down the rabbit hole and see what's going on here. There's got to be some kind of globbing code in here. Request FSLS. So we just call FSLS, which I believe is in, it's not in there. FSLS. Okay, so if there's not a wildcard mask on the directory, create a version of the directory with the mask appended. Right, so if there is a star, sorry, if there is no star, then the native one just uses, appends the star. Otherwise, what is it doing? Otherwise, if it does have an asterisk, we need to scan back and find the base directory. If there's no slash, it means we're listing the current working directory. Okay, if there's no slash, it's the current folder. If you find a slash, then you terminate it. Take a copy of the base folder. I'm sensing something a little bit off here because that'll give you the first reference. What if there's multiple slashes? If there's a slash, terminate it. Base directory gives you the root folder. It doesn't give you the folder you're working directly from. You can put it back in. Expanded equals fs expand path. So what's temp directory? A copy of the directory. Oh, so that actually includes expanding environment variables in it. I don't think we actually support that, do we? Should we check that? Let's go ls temp. Whoops. Yeah, maybe. That's a good point, Wolf. We'll have to check, hey. Let me see what the native one does. Yeah, there you go. So temp acts. Oh, man. Something's up. What's the bet that this has changed while I've been... Oh, that's right. I think I merged. Did I merge? No. Clearly, we'll ignore the size parameter for now. And this... Man, this is an absolute mess. What on earth is going on here? ls is fine. ls dot is fine. Let's get temp. And let's specify this ourselves and see if that makes a difference. Bug anyone? That's pretty funny, isn't it? Like we get all the things, but man, that is messed up. This is what I was expecting to see, not this utter mosh pit of mess. Anyway, we can support expanding all the environment strings really easily. So let's bash that out quickly in our ls implementation. Okay, let's hit stop there. get file system separator, create directory, delete directory, list entries. TIR TLV. So if we had the value as a string, what we should do before we do anything else is environment dot expand environment variables. Should be as simple as that, right? Now also, if we are, maybe we should do the same thing here. Environment expand environment variables, because we want to be able to CD, we want to be able to ls, want to be able to do it here as well when we delete environment expand environment variables. Environment expand environment variables. At least .NET makes this trivial, right? Could be a lot worse. Oh, this is a great song. Surprised I can actually stream this. Right, so that's all the things. There's going to be more up here, right? File stat f environment dot expand. That should be all of them. So current, set current, create. Let's try that, shall we? You guys are quiet tonight. There we go. Works better than the native one. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Okay. So environment variables obviously work just fine. Filling out 1 million pages of compensation claim form. No, that's excellent. You guys sure know how to party. It's interesting that this doesn't get expanded, hey, but that actually makes sense in many ways. CD. Why did that fail? Operation failed. 120, so that's a little bit different to what I would have expected. Set current directory. Let's do that again. Is that because of the stat? Do we need to be able to do that directly in file stat? That should be okay. What is being called first? Does anyone remember? Clearly the function that we're invoking here is there a CWD? File.search. No, we want the UI level stuff, FS. So if we go CMD CD. So what do we do first? We call checksums, right? FS shittier. Yep, that's okay. So it's calling FS change directory, which calls set current directory. Did I not set a breakpoint on that before? Expand path. It calls expand path first. FS expand path. Okay, well let's quickly bash that one out because that's going to be a really quick win. Register function. It is not a blocker. This dot expand path. Now this is one of the most trivial ones to implement. We want to do the same as something that's really small. A bit like this one, really. Expand. My posture's really bad at the moment. Now the only question is when we call expand path. Sorry, excuse me. Would it be an FS? Yeah, so what do we give it? Ooh. Expand path, hold path. It's under FS file. Here we go. Expand path. We just give it type file path. And we return a type file path back. Okay, that's not too bad. File path. File TLV. Change that to blah. And we'll go response.add TLV type dot standard API file path. Should be as simple as that, right? Yeah, quick win. Yeah, that's right. I am confident that this one's going to be a little bit quicker though. Whoops. Undo build. All right, let's try that again. Temp. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Was it that wolf? Okay. All right. That's nice. That's working as we would expect. Happy with that one. Small wins, but you know, got to roll with it. Now, I think what we're going to have to do is if there is some kind of glob in the file name, I don't think we actually support the notion of doing globbing. If we go ls c winstar star.exe, for example. Yeah, there you go. It only supports globbing at the file name level, right? Which makes the most sense. So what we need to do is we need to determine if there is a glob in our list entries, right? Because if we do, and this is a little bit upsetting because directory.get file system entries has overloads if there's a glob, right? See how there's a search pattern? And that search pattern cannot end in 2 periods, whatever. So what we need to do is check to see if there is a glob. I wonder if there is something that maybe we should get file name. So we want to go var, no, if get file name dir contains a star, then we need to do globbing behavior. Right? Otherwise, do what we're already doing here, like so. Now I am going to change this in just a minute to make it a little more functional. But basically what we want to do is this. Get file system entries. There's the search pattern. So maybe I should expand this out. So path.get file name dir. So file, maybe we should call it name with a capital N. So if the file name contains that. I'm going to use nicer functions. Let's do this. Private IEnumerable of generic collections. What are we doing here? Get file system entries returns strings. Okay. So we only need string. Get directory entries string path. So what I'll do instead of doing all of this nonsense is I was gonna get all funky with stuff, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, so might even not call it get directory entries. We might just go enumerate. I guess that's what it's called. Get file system entries. So we'll call enumerate file system entries. And this is what we're going to do in cases where we don't have a glob. Can't implicitly return. No, that's true. You see what I want? I want to do that, don't I? It's not even lazy, so we want path.getDirectory returns the directory information. Get directory name for path as well as file name, and that should support globbing. And then up here we can just go for each directory entry in enumerate file system entries for the given folder. Then we should be good. Does that make sense? So we're just kind of abstracting that little array into this new version. So let's run that. Okay, ls continues to work. ls star.exe. See, now herein lies the problem. I've got to expose fs search, even though I don't need to use search, right? Which is pretty dumb. So we don't even use it, but I guess this is the next thing that we're going to have to implement. So let's go with an empty one right now, just to get it moving. Let's do the same as this. And I'm not going to do anything. Build, run. Sessions -1 ls star.exe. Why did that fail? What we'll do is we'll hit a breakpoint here in case, and then we'll go over to here as well. See where it breaks. So the file name according to this is star.exe. If it contains a star, we should probably do question marks as well, right? Ooh, that broke. The path is not of a legal form. Oh, really? How interesting. Ah, okay, this makes sense actually. Because if the path has right, so if we go path get directory name of path, we get blank. Which means we need to effectively use what the current working directory is. Okay, so dir name equals path.get directory name of path as well. Now, if string.is null or null, empty, or white space of directory name, then we need to basically go dir name equals environment.current directory, right? And that should be enough. Let's just leave it like that. Is null or white space doesn't exist in .NET 4. Sorry, .NET 3.5. Tristan34, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining in on stream. What's crack-a-lackin'? You just cruising the Twitch to see who's doing what? Stumbled across this nonsense? That would be my assumption. This should solve the problem now. Breakpoint hit. File name contains star. So, oh, I didn't change it, did I? This needs to be the R name, and so does this. Actually, does it? Yeah, probably does. Although the real question here is, if the current you know what? I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to leave that as the path. Oh no, I can't do that. I absolutely need it. There's actually a couple of edge cases. Been following you since 23rd November 2016. Wow, that's really precise. Not seen you in a long time. Do you do any network reverse engineering with sniffing packets? Well, that's surprising, mate. It's nice to have you back, given that you haven't been around for a long time. Thanks again for joining in. I haven't done any protocol sniffing related stuff for a while, though. I did one a little while ago. It was like owning a crappy socks proxy or something. Let's have a quick, for those people who may not have seen it. Years ago. Where is it? There's a few in here. Here we go, 2 years ago. Oof. There it is. So this socks proxy one. That right there. I'll even paste it in the chat. That's one that I think kind of fits the description. Network packet sniffing and sort of generating an exploit based on the fact that we knew there was a bug. So you might find that one interesting. We should probably do more of that kind of thing, hey. But I'm just trying to get through these development streams to the point where I can push this to Metasploit Master and let it take on a life of its own. Anyway, thanks for asking the question, and thanks again for joining in. Now here's the problem that I've got, right? I would say that this current implementation will work for a very simple case. And that simple case is if we ls star.exe. Oh, that still failed. Why did that fail? We want to get here. Ah, it's because I didn't build it first. Yeah, Wireshark docs are really good, Tristan, but I find them a little tough to read, not gonna lie. Okay, that was better. Think of cases where this is going to break, but let's just prove that this works. Okay, so that works now, right? Star.star should work. And that's working too. Okay, so if we go up one and I do ls debug, that should work, right? If I do ls debug star.exe, oh, it does work. I had a feeling that was going to break. Oh no, hang on. I know what's going on. Okay, so if we go ls bin debug, oh no, it is working. Yeah, okay, it's good. Layman's terms, I actually have a little bot. So bang what will tell you what we're currently up to. Hopefully with a couple of links, but feel free to answer, sort out or ask a couple of questions along the way. There's actually a typo in that command. I'm going to fix that right now. Because I don't like busted commands. So, where are we? Custom commands. I need to edit the what. Because it says rate instead of rat. Save. Okay, let's try that again. Bang what? There you go. Typo fixed. So yeah, in short, we are building a CLR implementation of Meterpreter. That's basically it. And we're slowly padding out the features. Slowly but surely. Now what I need to do is implement the search feature, which I'm not really looking forward to because I'm pretty sure it's going to be more complex than I want it to be. But I kind of don't have a choice at this point because I've lied and said that I support it in order to support globbing. But I'm pretty sure that the FS search actually has its own. -1. So file system commands, networking file system. Okay, so search, here you go. So I'm kind of, yeah, I'm not really sure why the globbing feature sits there like that, but meh, it is what it is. Maybe Wolf might be right, because it could have something to do with particular Meterpreter implementations. No worries, just to keep the questions coming, mate. Happy to help out wherever possible. Okay, let's take a look then at what the native one does when it comes to searching. Standard API FS search. I get the feeling this is going to be horrible. I'm really not looking forward to this. It's got to be done though. Here we go, FS search. Now, is it as horrible as we had expected? Yep. Oh dear. Yeah, it is. It's using WDS, which it looks it's probably going to be in its own search.h. Let's just have a look at search.h, see what's included here. Because, oh no. No. This is pretty upsetting. It's using com behind the scenes. Oh well, let's see if there's a nicer way of doing it. .NET C# use WDS file search. Querying the index programmatically. So it's using desktop search. Let's see what we can find. Using SQL native process query the index. Windows Search Developers Guide. Windows Desktop Search Development. I don't really want to tap directly into com if I can avoid it. It'd be lovely to see. Oh no, we don't want that. What is this? It's possible with the Windows search you'll need the SDK, which provides a .NET assembly. Then look at the documentation to learn how to query WS. This is upsetting. That looks horrid. This looks like it's injectable too. Not that that's really that much of a problem. But oh my, doesn't make me happy. Oh yeah, here we go. Get proc address. Locate catalog. I'm becoming more and more sad by the minute. The thing is, like, we can just reference com directly using like a built-in sort of proxy. But I don't want to, obviously we don't want to do that if we can avoid it. This is disgusting. Oh man, look at it. All right, we're not doing that now. I'm just gonna call it. I'm not doing it now. I'm gonna leave the search function blank. Fill this in when I can be bothered. Let's just say call not implemented.
Hello?
Yuck. No regrets. Let's move on to something more interesting. We'll come back to that later. But really don't like the idea of just having the muck with com and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, man, I agree. I'm gonna quiz Brent on that, I think, and see why FS search is required, because it's clearly calling FSLS behind the scenes. It's not even invoking the search anywhere through that code path. I agree. The thing is, just because LS is supported doesn't mean that globbing in LS is supported. So, go figure. Anyway, what else can we do? Let's have a quick gander at what's in here. And let's see what else we've got. Okay, we've got download, we've got upload. Now download and upload require channels. LS now works. What is LLS? What does LLS do? List local files. Okay, I don't have to do that. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Tradir FS. Ooh, this is interesting. Checksum. MD5 and SHA1. Really? Okay, well we can do the checksum one. That should be fairly trivial. So if we go checksum, let's checksum blah. Oh, I've got to give it the type that I want. Interesting. Is this the native one? Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, we are still native. So yeah, that makes sense. So we don't have the checksum stuff in here. So let's manage register function FS. Is it standard API FS or was it standard checksum? Standard FS MD5. Standard FS MD5. Checksum. What I might do is have a private enum checksum algo. And we're going to have MD5 and SHA1. Now, in here we're going to have an inline processing result. And it's going to be called checksum. Checksum, and we're going to give it the checksum algo. So then here we can go. My fat fingering recently has been terrible. So we get the request, the response. Typing has been so bad of late. I can't even find my keys. This.checksum rec resp checksum algo MD5. And then here when we do SHA1, we can do that. LLS is when you mistake. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I fat finger that kind of thing often. What is my occupation? I ask myself that semi-regularly. Look, officially, I run a business that specializes in attack simulation. So we do a mixture of interesting security work with a focus on pretending to be a bad guy and going from nothing to full enumeration and full compromise and a full sort of attack scenario story. Sometimes we do it with goals a la Red Team. Sometimes it's kind of open slather, open slate. I wish I was a rock climber. That would be nice. Righto, so let's have a think about how we do. I can't even remember how we do SHA1 hash C#. Hopefully it's a really easy thing to do. SHA1 managed. I might even change this. So we end up with a function pointer that will give it to us. Oh, just had another follower. Legend of Zolda. Thank you for the follow. That's very kind of you. Alright, so the input, I assume, is going to be the bytes of data from the file that we're going to be hashing. So I'm going to change this actually. So instead of having a checksum algo, I'm going to have a couple of functions. Private, we get a byte array out, and we'll shove a byte array in. So hash SHA1, we're going to do this. Hash MD5 will do the same. So instead of this, we're going to have a function that takes a byte array and returns a byte array, and this is going to be called the hasher. And then up here, we can go this dot hash MD5, this dot hash SHA1. So they'll all come into this little sausage factory. And we need to, I'm assuming we need to iterate over the TLVs. So we should probably check that. Hey, standard API FS. Standard API FS MD5. So file.rb. There it is there. Ah, so we only give it one. Really? That's not what the documentation says. Look, file 1, file 2, file 3. Does it do multiple calls behind the scenes? That would be lame. Oh, really? No. They should just be sending a list of file paths. That's ridiculous. That's upsetting, isn't it, Atwolf? We should just be sending a list and retrieving a list. But we're doing a call for... Oh, that makes me so upset. I probably wrote that. Okay. So we give it a file path and we get a file hash out. Hang on, what's going on here? Oh, Meterpreter binaries will send file name containing the hash. Okay, well, we only need to give it the hash. How upsetting. How incredibly upsetting. Tristan, how did you get into security and pen testing? That's a good question. I started off as a dev a long time ago, but I lived inside soft ice in the early days of university, and I always loved security, reverse engineering, software copy protection, crack me's, reverse me's, all that sort of stuff. And after nearly 20 years of building software, I just kind of got sick of building targets and I felt like breaking them. And so I thought, I get this, I'm going to start working in security. And I was lucky enough to get a job which kind of gave me a bridge into security, and that was working on Meterpreter. That really opened the door for me. Keygen crack music play, yeah. Well, this music kind of fits, if you ask me. Okay, so file, and we are going to go file path, right? So we should copy this. Shove it in there. Okay, so we are adding standard API file hash, which is of type raw. So that's a win. Var hash equals hasher. File dot read all bytes. File equals yeah, I should do that. Okay, so we've got to expand environment variables again, read all bytes of the file, hash it, and we're good. FFFEA or something like that, yeah. Mate, I through another name that I'm not going to uncover. I spent a lot of time reverse engineering software copy protection in games and doing game hacks and whatnot, but I never released any binaries for people to play with. I never released keygens or whatnot. But yeah, I lived in that world for a long time. And even in a previous job, I bumped into a guy who used to work for Razer 1911. Dude was a beast. That name means anything to you guys? But yeah, he was incredibly good. We used to have some very interesting discussions. Yeah, the dude was prolific, let me tell you. Prolific. Now, maybe what I should look into here, because if we support compute hash, so SHA1 is this SHA1 managed, right? Let's do SHA1 first. Using var equals SHA1 managed. Is that what it was? Or is it all caps? All caps. New SHA1 managed. Hash dot compute hash. Input stream. Ah, that's probably what I would prefer. So instead of read all bytes, we want a do we give it a stream? Yeah, stream. Let's do that. That's much better. And that returns a byte array. That's better. Okay, so instead of that, we'll give it a stream. File stream. Much better, because that saves you from having to read everything in memory. If you've got a really big file, that's just going to make things go very bad. Using var stream equals file dot open read file, and then here we can just do this, give it the stream, and off we go. That's pretty good. That actually is much nicer, hey. Tristan, I honestly don't know, man. I haven't looked at that sort of stuff for a long time. I would assume there are people that do it still. Is buying a new kitchen and laundry qualify as a birthday present? I refuse to answer that question. I could get in a lot of trouble for getting it wrong. Okay, so hopefully, like, that is really, really that simple. And we should be able to do MD5 in C#. Oops. MD5 class. Let's have a look at what goes on here. Get MD5 hash. MD5 hash dot compute hash. So it's basically the same thing. MD5 dot create. So it is slightly different, right? Using var hash equals MD5 dot create. What does that return? It just returns an MD5. Hopefully we can still use the file stream here. Return hash dot compute hash stream. Okay, now I have a question. So when we create one of these, it is a hash algorithm. And so is SHA1 managed and SHA1 is a hash algorithm. Okay, so actually, you know what, I don't know. Should I abstract that even more? Because these are pretty much exactly the same. So maybe what I need to do here is instead of giving this, we need a function that does this. Function that returns a hash algorithm. Call it the hash generator. Because then in here we can go, we need to give it a file stream. So we give it a stream and it gives us a hash algorithm. Okay, so here we can say var hash equals hash generator stream. Okay, so that means hash.compute hash. No, actually we don't even need to give it a stream. We can just say give me a hash algorithm. Now the reason we're doing that is because we need to wrap it in using statement. Let's just do that. And then we can actually do away with each one of these. And up here, we can just give it a function that returns new SHA1, sorry, this is MD5.create. And this one here is new SHA1 managed. There we go. Glorious. Matt Wolf is officially the oldest here. No, I'm pretty sure I'm older. Okay, oh, geez, I missed a bit here. I know of Game Copy World. Yeah, I certainly do know a significant chunk of Game Copy World history. Great back in the day, so true, so very true. Yeah, I reckon. You see these web rings. Man, I was part of a bunch of web rings. That was hilarious back in the day. That's when the web was just a mess of vulnerabilities. Not that it's that different now. I'm hands down older than you. I'm probably the oldest on stream and on the whole channel. You kids and your game hacks. Right, let's see if the checksum stuff works. Sessions. So we've got a native one, we've got a CLR one. So if we look at sessions 2, let's go to temp. And we'll go checksum MD5. Let's just pick a few of these. Pick a file that's not tiny, such as this one. And Okay. Ooh, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Do we even end up in the right spot? Do we get a file path? Is that the problem? Yep, we get a file path, so that should be okay. We've got a hash generator. Our file is that hash generator. Ah, file stream. Could not find file. Ah, I'm in the wrong folder. Oops. I got a CD to temp. Looks pretty good to me. Look at that. It works. Tristan. I am 40. 40 years old. Yeah, this is nice keygen music, I agree. Thanks for the cheer. Seems good. Yeah, I am 40 years old. I behave like a 10-year-old. I refuse to grow up. Just because you're old doesn't mean you have to grow up. In my opinion. Don't grow up. It's boring. Alright, so we got hashing working. Hey, that was pretty easy. That certainly is substantially easier than doing it natively. 6 years older than me. Smashed you. Yeah, I mean, most of the people I climb with are a good 15 years younger than me. Not including my kid. That's obviously 30 years younger than me. But, yeah, I don't know. Don't feel old. Refuse to get old. Okay, so that was good. I'm glad we got a quick win out of that one. You would think that this would be normalized, hey? Yeah, there you go. I am an old man. Now, did we have delete file? Have we done delete file? I don't think we have. Why do I keep pressing that button? Go back over here. We have delete dir, but we don't have delete file. So let's copy pasta. Delete file. No doubt this will be a file path. File TLV. Same. Oops. Did it again. File TLV. So this will be if file.exists dir. File TLV. Oops, no, file. Try file.delete. File. That shouldn't be a problem. When I first started working, I came in as the youngest person on my team. Yep, I was the same. My first full-time professional paid software engineering job. I was 19. All changed and I got older and all the young people left. Time goes quickly, huh? Once you've brought over the features that you want need, what will this enable you to do? Okay, Tristan, so the plan here is to provide a CLR version of Meterp so that when you pop a web app that's running .NET, or you get a .NET deserialization vulnerability in an app, or you're running an IIS web server and you've got an ASPX upload or something like that, you have the ability to load a Meterpreter that's not like a native one. So you get all the flexibility that comes with the .NET framework without going native. It's just yet another option to deploy a Meterpreter that is fully featured, regardless of where it is that you're working in. So it's just, you know, some people might say, why aren't you doing it in PowerShell? Well, I kind of feel like PowerShell's getting locked down pretty well now, and its shelf life is limited compared to a proper sort of CLR version. But the beauty is, I mean, if you run .NET, you can do PowerShell stuff as well. So it's basically just to provide another option and to not have to run native code inside a CLR process if we can avoid it. Because let's face it, if you pop a .NET app and you run up a native Meterpreter, there are things that are going on that are a little obvious. So we're just trying to avoid that sort of stuff and maybe make things blend in a little bit more. There's the short answer. Now let's try this delete file thing. Build. Okay. Let's go back over to temp. See if we can delete something in here. RM. Don't know what this stuff is, but 12th, so that's today. These are all really old. That's last month. Let's get rid of this. There you go. Done. Works. How far are we in terms of features? So we're still really working at the moment on core features. I'm kind of trying to fill out standard API at the moment, so the core set of functionality where you can muck with the file system, you can muck with processes and all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm working on at the moment. I would say as far as getting to a version 1, it's got to be standard API has to be done, priv arguably has to be done, and that's probably it. We don't need to go through the full pain of creating, you know, Xtappy and Sniffer and all those other bits and pieces, which may not necessarily work in this context anyway. We'll just have to get to that. So I would say, so far, I would say we're probably close to maybe, let's say 30 to 40% of the features that we need. Mimikatz, that's going to stay native. So we will probably need some kind of way of loading native extensions or something along those lines, because there's no way I'm writing a .NET Mimikatz. But what's really important is that there are some core bits and pieces that we still haven't built, and the most fundamental one is the notion of channels. So channels we need to implement, because that will be that'll open the door to editing files, downloads, uploads, streaming streaming microphone stuff, the ability to port forward, that sort of stuff. So all of those features need to be built. So I would say, yeah, we've still got quite a way to go, but I think we're making good progress, because the ultimate goal here was to write every single line of code on stream so that everyone could learn and have it bronzed for posterity, so that down the track, when future people want to get involved, they can actually see the whole thing and they can learn about Meterpreter and MSF and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. I could be done a little bit faster if I wasn't on stream, and I kind of did it when I had the time. But I'm trying to explain everything as I go, which does slow me down. Don't be so lazy. Yeah, I know, I am lazy. That's one word that you can call me. That's lazy. Paulsec, hey, how you going, man? Good to see you come in. I haven't seen you for yonks. Hope all is well with you. Paulsec in the house, people. Alrighty. Delete file. File move. This is interesting. Old name, new name. How awful is this? Look at this. The old name is in file name and the new name is in file path. That's dirty as. Jesus. I am disgusted. Doesn't it? No, I did not write that, you cheeky bastard. Right. I did not write this. Has been around for a long time. Holy crap. I'm upset. That is really awful. File, is it move or MV? File move. That is just revolting. Okay, where did we go? Delete file. Take another copy of this stack. Righto, so we're going to need the... What are we looking for? Old file TLV will be a file name. And the new file... Stupid thing. New file TLV will be file path. That is just gross. Old file and new file TLV. Doesn't equal null. Old file. And new file. If file exists, old file, then file move, source destination, old file, new file. I don't know why I've got a try catch in here. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. I feel a lot of devs are lazy. We write software to automate tasks we don't have to do. Yep, that's true. But laziness, I mean, is necessity is the mother of invention, right? And people who are lazy that build some amazing things to make it easy for us are absolutely legends. But I wouldn't say the average dev is necessarily lazy. I think they're just constantly looking at ways to make their job easier or quicker because they work under some pretty ridiculous constraints. That's very true. While we're here, I'm going to do the file copy because I think this is going to be pretty much the same. I love how we've got delete dir, delete file, but file move and file copy. See? File move, file copy. I'm not going to do chmod because that makes no sense here. Paulsec, thanks for the follow, my friend. It's very kind of you. Okay, let's go back to move file. It's pretty much exactly the same. Oop. Exactly the same code. For S. We could probably generalize this. In fact, I am going to do this file operation. Function that takes a No, it's an action that takes a string and a string. Oops. So up here, we can just go we get a old and new. Oops. Oh, we don't even need to do that. We can just go file.move and file.copy. Cannot convert from method group to... Oh yeah, no, what? Really? Hang on, what? Ah, yeah, of course. So we get a request and a response. And then we just call file operation with rec resp and file move. That's better. That's better. I can't take on more work. Me neither. Obviously not lazy enough. First stream was like 2016. It's been nearly 4 years, hey. The duck though, hello. How's it going? Let's test to make sure that we can move and copy files. That's one. Alright, so what do we got? Let's copy that to test.foo. CP. Cool. Let's move that to foo.bar. And then we're gonna rm. Look at that. How lovely is that? Yeah, you guys, I think you obviously both did, hey. The duck though. No, we're currently building something, building a new agent. So have a look at that. That should explain what we're up to. Okay, hello. Oh, I don't know how to say that. Usisuvac? Usisuvacho? Hi. Sorry if I said your name wrong. That's a mouthful. Not much, dude. Just building some tools. How about you? What's cracking? What are you up to? Cruising the Twitches. That's how people tend to... I was cleaning malware from servers. Ah, that's a bit rough, dude. Ah, miners, they're everywhere. That's pretty rough. I'm glad it's you, not me, man. That's a pretty crappy gig. Someone's got to do it, though. Hey, don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm a good boy. Okay, so that was file.rb. We've done all of those things except for search. We've done expand path, MD5, SHA1, delete file, file move, file copy. Chmod we're not doing because it doesn't make sense on a Windows system. So that could well be it. Don't know how my friends even go. Oh, you've been doing it for friends. You're a good man. You are a good man. Good person, I should say. Ah, show mount. Yes. Yes. We should definitely do show mount. pretty much all of those ones are good now. I think show mount is the last one that we need. Now, I built show mount, so if this is terrible, I'm quite happy to take ownership of this. So let's do that. FS show mount. Show mount. This.show mount. Okay. We'll start with something very simple. Show mount. We don't need to read any data that comes out. Okay. What are we going to do here? So show mount in the native sense actually does enumeration of like network drives and local drives and whatnot. So we want to do something similar. Except if you yeah. Has anyone here listened to podcasts recently? Yeah, Tristan, I asked the twits today for a non-security podcast recommendation, and holy moly, I got a lot of stuff that came out of that. Really been enjoying, I think, all of you. It's okay. What's the podcast called, Tristan? Whoever it was somehow successfully deleted my account attempt. Yeah, nice. Horrible. Horrible. I'm just going to quickly look at a native because I can't remember what this does behind. Oh no. Why am I so fat fingery today? Really is terrible. Metasploit payloads doesn't have standard API FS show mount. Really? Oh, it's mount show. Where can you find the list that I was given? How about I give you a link to the tweets? Have a look. Have a look just here. There you go. There's a bunch of really interesting answers. So go and have a dig through that list, mate, and you'll see what people are recommending. So it's mount show, not show mount. So where are we? Request mount show. And here we go. How many tabs when I looked at your stream? Yeah, I know. It doesn't get any better. Thanks for the follow, the duck, though. Very nice of you, mate. Appreciate that. Okay, so get logical drive strings. And then for each one of those, we've got to call wnet get universal name. And then we call get free disk space A. This doesn't sound so bad. Mihant, thank you for the follow. I haven't seen you appear in the chats. Oh, there's Yosan7. Yonsan. There's some people chiming in with some chats now. It's awesome. Yeah, so this actually isn't going to be that hard to implement. So let's just quickly bash this out. So get logical drive strings. It's got to be a C# version of this. There you go. Get logical drives. Look at that. Show mount. For each var drive in environment.get logical drives. Okay, so in doing that, what did we do? That gives us all of drive strings, and then we iterate through those, and we get the drive type. Ah, we actually put packet groups in here. You can tell I wrote this because that's awesome. We do need to ask what get drive. So I'm going to pull this out. C# get drive type. Okay, so yes, it includes drive type enumeration for the drive info class. Have a look at get drives on MSDN. Ooh. Ah, so get drives. This is interesting. So let's have a look at that. Might be even easier. For each var drive info.get drives. Let's just have a quick look at what this contains. So we've got the type, format, whether it's ready, free space, total space, total size, root directory, volume label. And what drive types do we have? Unknown, no root directory, removable, fixed, network, CD-ROM. That's exactly what we're looking for, I think. That's pretty. That's pretty good, actually. File system. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Get logical drives. I wonder what the difference is between logical drives and non-logical drives. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. Back to our codings. So for each one of these, we want to create a group, and that group is a type mount. So we want to go var mount TLV equals response.add group, TLV type standard API mount, which we don't currently have. So now we're going to have to go and find it. Which we know should be back here somewhere. Oof, we're going to need all of these. Starting at 12:07. So we are somewhere in here. Alright, so let's start with a group. Standard API mount is a group of 12:07. Mount name, that's got to be a string. Oops, I can't type. Name. Now what we got? We got type, which is a uint. Then we have a space user. That's a uint as well. Which probably, oh no, it's a Q word. That's good. That's 12:10, right? Yep. User total and free. And then we've got UNC path in case that's associated. Mount UNC path. And that's 12:13. There we go. So now we have all the bits and pieces that we need. Why are there 3 32-bit IDAs in your quick start? Okay, so I've got a 32-bit IDA 6.9, 64-bit 6.9, and the 64-bit 7.0 free. There's Ghidra there as well. There's Binary Ninja. There's the 64 and 32-bit debuggers for Winterbag. Uint equals word. What? You lost me there, dude. Okay, so we've got the mount TLV. And then for each one of those mounts, we want to get a bunch of interesting stuff. wnet get universal name. We'll come back to that. So what are we adding here? We're adding the string name. A drive type comes out as type. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm just going to cast that directly to a uint. So we'll go mount tlv.add tlv type standard API mount name. Now there's got to be a, yeah, we'll do drive name, mount type. We're going to have to go drive type and we'll just cast that as a uint. Looks weird since you use keywords and not words. Yeah, well, we have 32-bit or 64-bit basically. So uints are actually D words. Do I find a free version? In some cases, yes. In a lot of the cases for simple stuff, yes. When you're doing really in-depth stuff, sometimes the non-free version is really handy. But I have the non-free version predominantly for obscure things. So the free version only supports like Windows. And so yeah, I'm interested in not just Windows. I'm interested in ARM binaries and ELFs and various other bits and pieces. So yeah. Yep, uint is D word, exactly that, 32-bit. Alright, so mount type. We've got the name and the type. And then if it's remote, we want to get this universal name, whatever that is. And then we can say space user space total and space free. Mount space free. Let's go drive dot available free space indicates the amount of available. Guess the total amount of drives. See, what's the difference? This is what I'm confused. Available and total free. All right, so space total is total size. Available free space. I think available free space might be for the user. But user free bytes total. I'm just going to do it that way. Space free is total free space. Let's do that. They probably do. I'd had a monopoly, then Ghidra just popped. Yeah, it did have monopoly, but you know, Binary Ninja was also really good. It shook things up a little bit, which I was pretty happy about. Okay, so we just want to see if there is a remote. So if drive.drive type equals remote network, then we need to add something else. We need to get the universal name. C#. There's got to be, please tell me there's a .NET way of doing it. A bit of digging, I found the source machines where the call didn't have a network provider, because finally installed as part of something called. Found the list of installed network providers, open network sharing center. Oh, okay, so I don't care about any of that. That is not what I want to do. I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do it. There's a p-invoke call heading our way, ominously, which I really don't want. This is pretty gross, isn't it? I don't want a p-invoke. Get system will eventually work. When we get around to implementing priv, we will make get system. So I'm upset. I really don't want to do this. Looks like this. It's been copied from here. Yeah. I'm upset. I am upset. Let's take a copy of this and see what we can do with it. Alrighty. So we're going to need to keep these. Where did those extra characters come from? Private static string. Pretty awful this. How awful. Massive try catch. Assuming that the buffer is not. If buffer doesn't equal 0, I'm getting rid of all of these comments. Throw an exception. That's unnecessary comment, isn't it? Allocate memory. Ah, really? I'm not a fan of superfluous comments, just so you know. First call, get the size. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. In fact, this ret val, where does that actually get called? Get the string, it's on the same buffer, but the pointer is... I don't understand why, like, size. If size is accurate, I don't understand why you need to turn, like, truncate it. We'll give this a go. Ret val isn't exactly what I would like to call it, so we'll call it universal name equals default string var universal name. Let's see if this works when it actually gets called. So equals get universal name for drive dot name. Gets the root directory of a drive. That's got to be in there somewhere, right? Maybe the root directory is used elsewhere. Send API mount UNC path, universal name. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do response.result equals result.success. Sorry if I'm missing the chats. I'm off. Thanks, Tristan. Good to see you, man. Thanks again for coming in. Sorry I wasn't paying attention to your farewell. Just burn your tongue on tea. Getting close. We've got 10 minutes to go. Hopefully we'll be able to get this done in that time. So, just looking at this again, we have mount name type space UNC path. So I guess the name. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let's see what happens. Why isn't it there? It should be here. Did I mistyped it, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. WP build should appear this time. Alright, let's see what happens. Ooh, the device is not ready. Is that because... Okay, so if the device is not ready... Hey, Swappage! Good to see you, mate. It's been ages. If drive.is ready... Oops. Let's try that again. Crash. Oh no. Well, well, well. That worked. I'm quite surprised. Born and bred pommy. Yeah, mate. Samesies. I'll just have you know, do you guys actually know what pommies are? Or what pommy means? A little bit of trivia for you. Well, it looks like the show mount thing works. Yeah, it does have a good set, doesn't it? I'm quite happy about that. I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to map it, but it looks like it's worked perfectly. Pommies are a bunch of people. It's actually not P-O-M-M-Y. Pommy, P-O-M-E, is what was written on the clothes of convicts that were shipped out to Australia from the UK, and it stood for Prisoner of Mother England. So technically, pommies are the original criminal Australians, not the English. There you go. That bit of trivia tends to ruin the fun for the Australians who like to call all of the Brits that whinge pommies. But technically correct is the best kind of correct. So the pommy, if you're an Australian from like descended from the boats, then technically you are a pommy rather than the English. So yeah, Google it. It's cool, hey. Okay, so I'm pretty happy. We've had some good progress tonight. Let's just have a quick look at the differences that we've got. That's not where I'm going to find the difference. I'm going to have to do that in Windows. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie came from... Yes, I did know that. And I hate that chant. It drives me insane. Now, do we use that? Yes, we do. We use that. No, we don't. There are more data we need and no error. I'm going to leave this as is for now, and we'll come back to it. Maybe tidy it up just a little bit. But for the most part, I think our file system stuff is pretty much covered. I'm going to move this DLL import back down to where this other DLL import is. Excuse me, in fact we'll put it here. Alright. Any questions? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Right, okay, so what did we do? We did get a bunch more file system related stuff done. We implemented deleting files, moving, copying files. We finished off LS, including globbing support. We kind of bombed out on the search. We might do that next time. We did expand path, we did the checksums for MD5 and SHA1, and we did the show mount functionality. So look, hey, I'm pretty happy with that. That's a good deal of functionality given what we've bashed out in a short period of time. So, on that note, what time is 3 minutes till 10 o'clock, so that's pretty much perfect timing, isn't it? Hey? Back to my ugly face. Look, I just wanted to say thank you, as always, to everyone who comes along and watches me bash away on these things. Hopefully my ramblings are making sense and that you guys are learning along the way and all that sort of thing. And thanks for keeping the chat ticking over, and it's nice to see some new faces and some very old faces and some regular faces. I very much appreciate you guys making the stream a lot more entertaining than it would be if you weren't here. So I'm very grateful. So until next time, I'd say I'm planning to do a Thursday night, but I have tried to do that once a week, twice a week for the last few weeks, and it has been very difficult, but I will do my best this time around. So, but yeah, if you feel like popping in next time, that would be awesome. I'm assuming he's hiding a tattoo. Tattoo? Oh, the arm. Yeah, I just noticed the armhole. And you get too much light. I need to tweak my camera settings again. Crazy. But yeah, thanks guys and gals and lovely people. I appreciate your support as always, and I look forward to the next one. In the meantime, be good to each other.